Benny the bunny popped his head out of a burrow, ears twitching. He wore a tiny straw hat and a tool belt made of dandelion stems. "Louie, wake up, big guy! We've got carrots to count!" Louie the little bear yawned loudly, his fuzzy brown face still half asleep. "Is it snack time?" Benny chuckled. "Not yet, but if we get our work done, maybe Farmer Hoot will let us leave early." Louie's eyes lit up. "So we can go to the pond and dream about our garden?" "Exactly," said Benny. They worked side by side in the field, Benny measuring rows and Louie carrying baskets filled with golden carrots. Though Louie sometimes forgot which way to walk or dropped a carrot or two, Benny never scolded him. "Don't worry, Louie. We've got each other," Benny said, patting Louie's paw. As the sun dipped low, they sat beneath the willow tree by the pond. "One day," Benny said, gazing at the clouds, "we'll have our own garden. We'll grow carrots and sunflowers, and you'll have your big comfy chair under the tree." Louie smiled dreamily. "And you'll have your thinking rock." Their dream felt so real, like it was floating just over the next hill. But dreams, like journeys, are full of surprises. The next morning, Benny spotted something new on the farm's notice board. Helpers needed at Clover Hill Farm, room, meals, and pay. Benny's eyes widened. "Louie, come see this!" Louie lumbered over, still munching on a dandelion. What's a Clover Hill?" "It's a farm, a new one," Benny said, tail twitching with excitement. "They pay in sunflower seeds and silver berries, and maybe, just maybe, we could save enough to start our own garden." Louie tilted his head. "Will they have pillows?" "Maybe even a whole pile of them," Benny grinned. After packing a few things, Benny's favorite map, Louie's stuffed beetle, and a carrot sandwich, they waved goodbye to the old field. Farmer Hoot gave them a nod. "Follow your dreams, boys, and take the sunset path. It'll guide your hearts." As they reached the edge of Clover Hill Farm, they saw rows of vegetables, colorful laundry fluttering on lines, and cheerful animals working together. Benny nudged Louie. "This could be it, buddy. One step closer to our dream." Louie nodded slowly, holding tightly to his stuffed beetle. They stepped through the gate, not knowing that this place would test their friendship more than ever before. Benny and Louie stepped through the wooden gate and were immediately greeted by a blur of feathers and fur.
"Who are you?"
asked a small voice. A curious duckling with a polka-dot ribbon waddled over.
"I'm Daisy. I'm in charge of pond patrol."
"I'm Benny, and this is Louie," Benny said. "We came to help." Louie waved shyly. "Hi." Just then, a goat with a cane approached. "Well, well, new faces. I'm Mr. Grumbles. I handle schedules and snacking breaks." He winked.
"You'll do fine here,"
Daisy said cheerfully.
"as long as you don't bother Spike."
"Who's Spike?" Louie asked, looking around.
"That would be me."
A tall, proud rooster strutted over, his feathers gleaming. "I don't like slackers, and I don't like mistakes." Benny stepped in front of Louie. "We're hard workers, sir." Spike. "We'll see." Despite the rocky welcome, Benny and Louie were soon put to work. Benny helped organize the seed bins, while Louie carried buckets of water to the garden beds. At the end of the day, the animals gathered around a lantern and shared stories. Daisy told tales about cloud chasing. Mr. Grumbles talked about dancing in his younger days. Benny smiled. I think we can do this, Louie. Louie nodded, curling up on a straw bed. Will there be dreaming tonight? Benny looked up at the stars. Always. But something in the air felt uncertain, like a wind waiting to blow. Louie was on his way to the garden with a watering can when he noticed the chicken coop door was open. Curious, he peeked inside. Rows of eggs lay nestled in hay. The hens were softly clucking as they warmed them. Louie smiled. He liked the warmth, the quiet, the round shapes. He stepped inside and gently sat down near one of the nests. But as he shifted his weight, crack! A startled hen flapped her wings and a few eggs rolled out, tumbling across the floor. What is going on in here? Spike's voice boomed as he burst through the door. Louie froze, his big paws trembling. I didn't mean to. Spike's feathers puffed out in rage. You broke an egg. You don't belong in here. Benny came running. Louie, are you okay? Spike pointed a sharp claw. He's a danger. He shouldn't be allowed near the animals. He was just curious, Benny protested. He didn't mean harm. Daisy and Mr. Grumbles appeared at the door, frowning with concern. Louie's lower lip trembled. I like the soft sounds. I didn't want to break anything. But Spike was unmoved. If he messes up again, I'll have him out by sunset. Louie slumped, ears drooping. Benny helped him to his feet. Come on, Lou. Let's go for a walk. The two friends sat by a quiet stream, wind brushing the water like fingers across a harp. I'm sorry, Benny, Louie whispered. I always ruin things, reassuringly. No, you don't, Benny said, holding Louie's paw. You just see the world differently, and I like that about you. Louie's eyes sparkled a little. Do you think we'll still get our garden? We will, Benny said, though his heart felt heavy, even if it takes a little longer. Benny sat under a tree, scribbling plans into his notebook with a twig. Louie sat beside him, watching ants carry crumbs. We can't stay here much longer, Benny said finally. Not with Spike blaming you for everything. Louie's shoulders drooped. But what about the sunflower seeds? The pay? I've been thinking, Benny said, closing his notebook. We've saved a little already. If we keep working one more week, we might have enough to start looking for land. Louie's face lit up. Like a hill with a pond and a comfy spot for naps. And a thinking rock and garden beds, Benny nodded. They agreed to stay quiet, work hard, and avoid Spike. But that was easier said than done. The next day, Louie was helping Daisy stack feed sacks when one of them slipped. It spilled grain everywhere, and Spike saw it all. That's it, Spike crowed. One more mistake, and he's gone. Benny clenched his paws. He didn't do anything wrong. Mr. Grumbles stepped between them. Let's all calm down. Maybe it's time for a change. That night, Benny whispered to Louie, We leave tomorrow at dawn. We'll take the shortcut through Maple Hollow. I marked it on the map. Louie nodded. Will there be stars? Reassuringly. Lots of them, Benny smiled. They'll guide us. And so, with hearts full of hope and just a little fear, they made their plan. Their dream was calling, and it was time to follow it. Benny tightened the straps on his tiny backpack. Inside were a map, 2 sunflower muffins, and Louie's stuffed beetle. Louie gently cradled a rolled-up blanket in his arms. They tiptoed past the chicken coop, where Spike still snored loudly. Daisy spotted them near the gate. "Where are you going?" Benny looked at her, then glanced at Louie. "We're chasing our dream. We're going to find our own land." Daisy nodded, eyes shining. "I knew you would. Follow the windflowers. They'll keep you on the path." She handed them a small pouch. "Sweet root candies. For strength." Louie gave her a gentle hug. "Thank you, Daisy." With a final wave, they stepped onto the forest trail. The morning fog curled around their feet as they walked into Maple Hollow, a place whispered about in farm stories. Scene shift. The trail twisted between ancient trees with trunks so wide, Louie could barely wrap his arms halfway around them. Sunlight filtered through the canopy, dancing on mossy stones. "Do you think we're close?" Louie asked after a while. "Maybe," Benny said, checking his map. "It's not far now." Suddenly, a loud rustle echoed through the brush. Louie froze. From the trees emerged a sly-looking fox with a red scarf. "Well, well, travelers, and what might you be carrying?" Benny stepped in front of Louie. "We're just passing through." The fox sniffed. "Smells like muffins. Maybe I'll help myself." Before Benny could speak, Louie gently but firmly held out a muffin. "For you," he said kindly. The fox blinked, then, surprisingly, took the muffin with a chuckle. "Kindness is rare in these woods. Keep walking, little dreamers." And just like that, the fox vanished. Benny looked up at Louie. "You always know what to do." Louie smiled. "Muffins fix lots of things." As night began to fall, they spotted something ahead, a small hill bathed in moonlight with a trickling stream nearby. Could it be? Their dream might be just over the next ridge. The moon glowed bright above the hilltop. A gentle breeze rustled the grass as Benny and Louie climbed the final slope. At the top, they gasped. Before them lay a quiet, open meadow wrapped in soft wildflowers. A stream sparkled under the stars, winding through the land like a silver ribbon. Tall trees stood like guardians, offering shade and comfort. Louie whispered, "Is this it?" Benny nodded slowly, awe in his voice. "It's even better than we dreamed." They explored the space as Louie splashed in the stream, and Benny rolled out the blanket under a willow tree. By morning, they were building. Louie stacked smooth stones for a garden wall. Benny mapped out carrot rows and sunflower spots. They dug, planted, and shaped their little haven, one happy breath at a time. Benny found a flat rock near the stream and declared it his thinking rock. Louie made a chair out of moss and branches. As the sun rose high, they stood side by side, paws dirty and fur messy, looking out over their tiny paradise. "I think it's real now," Louie said. "It is," Benny agreed. "And it's ours." They shared the sweet root candies Daisy gave them and toasted with cups of stream water. That night, fireflies blinked around them, like stars come down to visit. Louie leaned back in his mossy chair. "Do you think the others will believe us?" Benny smiled. Maybe, but even if they don't, we'll know we made it. And for the first time, their dream wasn't just something to talk about. It was something they could touch, live in, and grow together. A few weeks had passed. The meadow garden was blooming. Little green sprouts poked through the soil, and the stream, it now had a tiny wooden bridge, proudly built by Louie himself. One sunny morning, Benny was gently tending to the carrots while Louie snoozed in a warm sunbeam. Suddenly, the air filled with wings and cheerful voices. "Yoo-hoo! Anyone home?" Benny looked up, blinking. "Daisy? Mr. Grumbles?" Sure enough, waddling across the bridge came Daisy the duckling, ribbons bouncing, followed closely by Mr. Grumbles, looking extra dapper with a fresh flower tucked behind one ear. "We brought visitors," Daisy chirped. Behind them came two more familiar faces, Zippy the squirrel and even Spike, the proud rooster, looking a little cautious. Louie stretched and sat up. "They came." Daisy rushed over and gave him a big hug. "We missed you, and we wanted to see the dream garden with our own eyes." Mr. Grumbles gave a low whistle. "You boys have done something special here." Even Spike cleared his throat. "I may have been a bit harsh, but I can see now you've built something real, something kind." Louie smiled and patted the moss by the stream. "Want to try the moss chair?" Spike hesitated, then slowly nodded and sat. "Huh, comfy." The group shared muffins, giggles, and stories from Clover Hill Farm. Benny and Louie gave them the full tour, the thinking rock, the bean tunnel, and of course the nap nook, with warm awe. "I always knew you two could do it," Daisy said, looking around in wonder. "Thanks to friends like you," Benny replied. As the sun dipped low, brushing the sky with gold and pink, the visitors began their walk home, but not before promising to return soon. "You're part of something bigger now," said Mr. Grumbles. "You've started more than a garden. You've started a place of hope." And just like that, they waved goodbye. Benny and Louie stood side by side, watching them disappear down the trail as the first stars twinkled in the sky. "Do you think they'll really come back?" Louie asked. Benny nodded. "Yes, because now we're not just dreamers, we're home builders." A few days later, the sky above the meadow darkened. These weren't soft, friendly clouds. No, these were dark, heavy, rumbling like giants tumbling in the sky. Benny squinted up from his carrot patch. Storm's coming. Louie was by the stream carefully building a birdhouse. He frowned, worried. "Will it hurt our garden?" "We'll do what we can to protect it," Benny said, grabbing palm leaves and string. "Come on, let's cover the sprouts." Then the wind began to howl. Rain came down in icy sheets. Thunder cracked like booming drumbeats from the clouds. Together, the two friends worked through the storm, Louie using his big paws to shield the sunflower buds, Benny tying down vines and seedlings with trembling hands. But the storm was fierce. A sudden gust, whoosh, ripped the roof right off their little storage tent. The bridge creaked, then snap. The stream overflowed, rushing wild and muddy, swallowing part of the garden path. By nightfall, they were soaked, exhausted, shivering inside their mossy lean-to. The fireflies were gone, Everything was dark and wet and quiet. Louie sniffled. "It's all broken." "No," Benny whispered. "It's not gone, just bent a little, like dreams sometimes are." "I wanted it to last forever," Louie murmured, his voice so small. Benny reached out, placing a paw on Louie's. "It still can. We can rebuild, together, and this time it'll be stronger." Outside, the storm began to fade. The rain softened to a gentle drizzle. Louie looked up. "Promise?" Benny gave a tired, warm smile. "Promise." And in that tiny shelter, cold, quiet, but filled with love, two friends made a silent vow to never give up, not on each other, not on their dream, because some things are worth rebuilding, no matter how many times the wind tries to blow them away. The morning after the storm. The meadow was still damp, but the sky, it was clear, golden. Sunlight stretched across every puddle, making them sparkle like little ponds of light. Benny stepped out of the shelter, blinking at what the storm had left behind. The garden paths were washed away, the bridge was gone, and the bean tunnel had collapsed. Louie joined him, holding a branch like a walking stick. "Where do we start?" Benny pointed to a broken fence post. "Right here." And so they began. Each day, a little more was fixed. Louie rebuilt the bridge, this time using stronger wood and twisting vines. Benny replanted the carrots, this time with a clever new drainage plan. Daisy and Mr. Grumbles visited again, bringing seeds, snacks, and smiles. Even Spike returned, carrying a load of mulch and wearing a proud grin. Zippy zipped through the trees, tying flowers to the fence posts like tiny, colorful flags. The garden came back to life. Not exactly the same, but even better, brighter, stronger, shared. One morning, Louie spotted it, the very first sunflower, opening its golden face to the sky. "It's blooming!" he shouted, running to Benny. Benny followed him to the flower bed, heart swelling, just like our dream. They sat together under the old willow tree, Benny on his thinking rock, Louie curled into his mossy chair. Louie looked up. "Do you think dreams always take this much work?" Benny chuckled, wisely, warmly. "The good ones do." Bees buzzed, the breeze carried the scent of wildflowers, and the two friends sat, watching their garden sway in the sunlight, not just a place they'd imagined, but a home they had built, with love, patience, and each other. Because sometimes the best dreams aren't the ones you chase, but the ones you grow together.